What was going on there with the old live stream setup, dude? A little more complicated today. And last time I did it, whenever that was, must have been Friday. Right, here we are. I ate one of my sandwiches already and a banana. Now I'm working on this orange. What are these? What's the nipple on it? Navel orange, I think. Or what? Yeah, I think it's a mandarin though. That's what I ordered. So, hope you guys had a good weekend and New Year's. We're in the new year now, 2023. By a few days. I'm a little late saying that, I think. Don't even know what the date is. But it's in this new year. And juicing all over myself here. So, a couple of things that I thought about talking about today that were a little bit interesting that popped into my brain was that it's kind of, and I don't know if this is everybody, but kids, seems like it's a popular thing for kids to pretend they're animals. Like a cat or a dog or whatever, a monkey. And so I thought that was just interesting because it's kind of, nobody really tells them that they should act like a cat or a monkey. They just do it. And I think it's a common thing. I don't know how common it is. That would be interesting to find out the percentage of kids that act like pretend they're animals and what ages they do that at. Kind of interesting. Only because, or one reason because, animals are living things and their kids are young and perhaps or potentially they have like some kind of spiritual reason for doing that. Like, they're just familiar with that whole life being one thing and they're kind of like remembering it or something. I don't know. Maybe it's nothing, but I just thought it was interesting. Probably it's nothing, but the thought just crossed my mind about it. And so I was kind of, I just thought I'd throw it out there and see if once I started talking about it out loud, it pulled more information out. Because a lot of times that's what happens. Start on one topic, and then it shines light on something else. Or brings light to, yeah, there you go, shines light on something else. But I thought that was kind of cool that kids do that. And grown-ups don't really do it. Actually, I've seen a few. They're probably more teens. But some kids run around like they're an animal and wear a tail and shit. I don't know what's up with that. They're like discovering their animal spirit or something. But animals are pretty important. That's something. Pets. We love our pets, man. Pets are super important too, I think. I love pets. I love dogs, mostly. Animals are cool, period, but dogs are just man's best friend. I mean, shit, everybody knows it. They're freaking awesome. And I think they're man's best friend because They don't. They're always there. They never complain. They're always happy to see you. Like, just no matter what. And you can be like, blah, 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 yeah, get off my stuff. And they're like, okay. They're still happy to have you tell them not to do something. Even if you're not, even if you're like having a bad day and whatever. And you're like, ah, damn it, dude. Now you knocked this shit over. What the fuck? Okay, sorry about that, dude. They're just like such a positive animal. I think, and they never complain that part too, and they're always there. And you call them, or you need them, or Lassie, come help me, I'm stuck in a tree. They're just kick ass, man. And I'm sure people have the same kind of attachment with other animals too, like cats and birds and whatever. I know horses are big too. But pets are super cool, man. They even use pets or animals as therapy for people who are going through whatever kind of bull crap, physical, mental disability type thing, age, even loneliness, all kinds of stuff. To give people that companionship and that just whatever it is that pets give you, like petting them and just they are alive, dude. They're experiencing feeling and interpretation of what the fuck's happening on a different level, probably, maybe even greater than ours for all we know, because you know what Dirty Honey says. He has no idea. Anything could be possible. And honestly, I think there's a good portion of truth to that. Well, the good portion of truth that I'm talking about is that animals are like they're these living things that experience life like us, ish. And so, therefore, they probably enjoy the similar things to us, like love, compassion, happy energy. You know, they have similar things like getting startled, like, well, damn, I'm shooting a gun next to me or freaking lighting up fireworks or whatever. They're gonna be like, oh shit, same thing as you. So they're affected by the immediate surroundings, like a tree, where if you do some firecrackers next to a tree, I don't think it affects the tree very much as long as it doesn't catch it on fire. But the animals have this other, senses that are a lot similar to ours. And so when we're communicating with our animals, the way I do it is and it works, is you talk to them. Like if our dog's out barking, someone's in the alley or behind the house, whatever. And we have two dogs and the other dog's out there barking, whatever. I talk to him like, hey, come here, doggy. Come on, what are you barking at over there? Thanks for telling us that there's something over there barking, okay? And I'll send them like my feeling of energy, happy, loving energy to them in my voice and in my energy projection, which I think we have, and talk to them like they're a human being who understands everything I'm saying, and I'm saying it like I'm asking them a favor or thanking them for what they've done. And other times I'll ask one of the one dog to tell the other dog to stop barking. And the one dog is the German Shepherd. We got a German Shepherd and a pit bull. And the pit bull will be out there barking at something, and the German Shepherd will come over, and I'll be like, "Hey, what's the dog barking at?" And she'll be like, it's like she's talking to me, dude. I swear to God. And I'll be like, "Hey, well, go tell her not to bark. No more barking, okay? Tell the dog not to bark." And she'll just keep not barking, but like freaking talking to me, dude, with whatever kind of dog voice it has that's not a bark. It sounds like she's trying to talk to me. And so I tell her that, and I swear to God, dude, a couple seconds later, here comes the other dog. I'm not even yelling or calling the dog upstairs. I'm talking to this dog right here and asking this dog to tell that dog to come down. And seconds later, that dog will come down, which may have heard me or sensed me down here, whatever. But comes down, stops barking. They kind of look at each other. I thank both of them, tell them thank you for telling us whatever's out there, whatever they were barking at. And I say, okay, now no more barking. Okay, guys, let's keep it quiet. And it works. If you go out there and, hey, God, shut the fuck up, dude. Maybe they'll be quiet for a second, then they're back at barking. They might think that you're barking too when you start yelling at them like that. Like, oh yeah, he's joining me. Let's get this guy, whatever it is, that rabbit. So, try it. Love your animal. I'm sure you do. You wouldn't have it if you didn't. It's like you're running around kicking it and shit. But I think sometimes, I know that some people have difficulty with communicating or having their pet do their dog, or mostly dog. I don't know what's up with cats. They're different. But I'm sure you have to love them and all that. They probably respond to that as well. I'm sure they do. They're a living creature. Did you see that? Orange juice just shot right at my camera. It's on the screen, but just like one little drop. I'm just going to leave it there because if I try and scratch it off or whatever, it's going to mess everything up. Just one drop of orange juice, but you saw it. That was live. In live action orange squirt. But what I was saying is about the pet. And I don't know that fish would respond to that, but I've had fish too. I just didn't really try that, and that was a long time ago. But I think that fish can sense you on the outside of the tank. They at least know when it's feeding time. So they probably have some kind of a sense of that experience of life and feeling and emotion, and they can see you out there. And so I think that's cool though. But I think the pet calm approach is something that you can do right away that makes sense. It's something that they're a living creature. They're probably going to respond to things that us, who's a living creature, would respond to. And for me, when I started doing it, it was like, it's worth a try, and it works. So I continued to do it and have ever since. And I'm going to recommend that to you. It's not hard to do. Talk to them with love, like you really love them. You have to believe it. You have to feel it. They can understand. I think they can sense that, just like they can. Some people believe that dogs can sense when somebody's scared of them because they're like a bad guy comes around. He's like, oh shit, dog's gonna attack me. I'm nervous around this dog. Dog's like, what the fuck are you nervous about, dude? And they start growling or whatever. So I think dogs can probably sense energy better than we understand they can. We probably can too, but we're a little bit more overstimulated with information that's like, making it more difficult to focus on that. But dogs probably have a good sense of that energy, and my dogs have responded very positively to me giving them positive lovey energy and talking to them like they understand every word I'm saying and asking them favors rather than yelling demands at them. It works. So you guys give it a try and let me know. See if that helps. Be nice to your pets too. Because I think we do. So humans, I think everybody does whatever we do because we know that what we do is going to give or cause a reaction in the human or whatever we're communicating with, and that reaction is going to give us a feeling, and so that feeling is why we did our original action. So I think that's built into us over time, and it's like you do something so that they react, and that'll give you a feeling. Similar to, oh dude, I got this exciting news and I'm going to tell my friend. I really want to tell this person this awesome, exciting news because I know that they're going to be happy and that's going to make me feel happy. And I want to feel happy, so I'm going to tell them about something that's going to make them feel happy because that makes me feel happy. Or if I need someone to know that they fucked up or whatever, and I say, look, this is how it is. And they're going to be like, oh, damn, you're right. And they're going to recognize or appreciate potentially what I showed them that made them safer or helped them to understand something a little better. And that's going to make me, and I anticipate that making me feel good because they appreciated what I did for them. And so that can go both ways too. If it can go on the ugly side too. But what my point of that is with pets is I think that's something that works. It's something that if you pay attention to with your pet and what kind of a response they're going to give to the action that you're putting on them, that response that they're going to give is something that you want to pay attention to as the result for why you said something. So rather than the final outcome of what they do, it's more like how you think that they would feel about you telling them something like that in that tone or in that energy. And if you feel like they would be scared into it, or you feel like they would be happy to do it, because if they were a human, that's how they would feel. Like, oh, if I did talk to a human like this, they'd be like, what the fuck? You don't tell me what to do, dude. Don't be yelling at me and shit. But if I talk to them nicely, they'd be like, okay, no problem. I'll do you a favor. You feel me? So the dog, what the human would feel in a situation like that is probably similar to what the dog would feel. And so I think that that's part of why it works. I don't know if that made sense. I feel like I might have broke it apart and not put it all the way back together. But something's there. Figure it out, dude. I gave you a couple of the pieces. Be nice to your animals and talk to them with energy that's positive, and do it on purpose, and try and make it as real as you can for yourself, and I think it really works. But something else I was thinking about too is how like that is kind of just like weird, man. How like some things you don't really notice until you have one. And then all of a sudden it's like, dude, I keep seeing this. Oh, look, they did that to it. Like you get a customization on your vehicle or something. And then you'll start noticing how a lot of other people have that same thing. Like, what the hell? You have that too. Dude, I keep seeing these everywhere now. Or you'll see something that you never saw before that you like. And then it's like, dude, you start seeing it everywhere. You just don't, or you get like something fancy. And then you'll start noticing things about that fancy item. Like, oh, look at, you never would have noticed that that fancy item has this little detail on it if you never had the fancy item in the first place. You would just see it as a fancy item. You don't necessarily see that it has this specific detail about it that makes it fancier than the other fancy item that it's like. So I just had a little notice or recollection of that happening to me the other day, and I was like, dude, that's weird how now I see these everywhere. And before I had one, I never really paid attention. You just don't notice stuff. It's right in front of your face, so you just don't notice it until you have it, or you're like experience it or whatever. Kind of like explaining the flavor of chocolate to somebody who's never had chocolate. They would have never thought about those flavors and how chocolate would taste had they not tasted it. And explaining those flavors or tastes are hard to do, so I don't know if that makes sense either. Whatever, I'm stupid. Something like that. The weird part about that I notice is just how we, or at least me, is how I'll start to recognize how common something is only after I experience it myself, or have it myself, or discover it. Because if I never knew it was there, then it could be right in front of my face and I didn't even know it. It's like having a baseball card that's worth $10 million, but it's just sitting in your front seat. Like, it's there, whatever. I picked it up, threw it on the ground, it's there. But you just don't notice it. You don't pay attention to how kick-ass it is until you know it's a that baseball card, and then you're like, oh my god, dude, look at this thing's in perfect condition. And maybe you'll start to recognize the age and all the things that that card experienced, or the rooms that it was in during its life to your hand, its journey to your hand. And so it becomes more important and something that you can focus on once you understand its value or understand that it exists or whatever. I don't know. That's kind of weird with other stuff too, like spiritual shit. It kind of leads into that. Feels like that's how it is. If you're not paying attention to those things, you won't even notice that they're there. It could be right in front of my face. Oh, look, there's a ghost, and I'm just not looking at it. Or whatever, I'm not focusing on it. That's pretty crazy. If you could focus, it would be cool if there was like some kind of, I guess that's what religion and stuff are, but like a book that showed you everything, like everything that's possible. You know what I mean? So there wasn't, I guess having questions is kind of cool, and not knowing and figuring it out is like the experience of life. So maybe that wouldn't be cool, but it seems like maybe what I think is that it would be nice to find that in afterlife or something. Just eventually figure out the answer for some reason. I think it seems like knowing the answer is what the hell I'm trying to figure out. So I think once I get it, if I ever did, I don't know if I would be like, yeah, all right, I got the answer. Now I'm like eternally figured out. Or I don't know what would happen. But trying to find the answer is life, or the journey is a good portion of what makes life what it is, that whole not knowing thing. And whether or not you're going to focus on figuring it out or just fuck it. Here it is. It's in that book over there. I'm going to put there on the shelf and we'll just leave it there. That's where it is when I'm dead. That's where I'm going. Done. Or whatever. So, I don't know. I thought that was weird about the whole not seeing things until they're there. Oh yeah, and then I was talking about spirituality and that too. That's totally possible, man. I feel like that happened to me. Like with regard to focusing on not, accepting that I don't understand, and that I'm going to look around and focus on, pay attention to what's happening and see if I can figure it out without telling myself what it is from the outside, and just experience it and tell myself what it is or figure it out. Like, trust myself. You got to have that, dude. Self-trust is super fucking important. It actually this is like, because the whole religion thing, saying you're evil, is so just, that's one of the things that just so annoying to me. It like tells you and everybody's evil. So it's like, if you're evil by default, so is everybody else. And you're trying to rid yourself of what you were made so that you could be something that the creator that made you didn't do 100% correctly or something. It just doesn't work. It's like toil, bro. That's toil to me. Like, you got to trust yourself. Even when you make a decision that you're going to follow a religious guideline or whatever, or religious um, belief system, you're trusting yourself to make that decision. And so how can you be evil and not trustworthy, but then trust yourself to make a decision to trust the person who told you were evil? That seems like not a good decision. I don't know, dude. That just seems like fucked up. Trusting yourself and not listening to everything else, and just kind of realizing that everybody's talking and nobody knows who to trust and everyone's just babbling. Just trust yourself. Listen to yourself. That's important. It's like, it determines everything. It determines everything. Everything that you do is based on trusting that that's a good idea. To do an action that will cause a reaction that'll give you a feeling. You had to trust that that was going to happen. So you had to trust yourself that you know what kind of feeling you're going to get. And so everything's done on that. Everything is done on the reflection. Trust it, yes, and do it. So how can you be evil? How can you be untrustworthy? It doesn't make sense, dude. It's just more like I think we're just confused and can't see that we're trustworthy because we're being told we're not. By God, who made us. It just doesn't make sense, dude. I don't know. I like to trust myself. I'm trying to recognize that I am trustworthy. And that knowing that, it feels to me like I am growing in my understanding of myself because I trust myself. Because I trust. Because I think that we all trust ourselves. So it's not like I'm trusting myself out of the ordinary. We all trust ourselves. It's just that some religions tell you not to. But you have to trust yourself even to make the decision to know that you're not trustworthy and to follow the people who are telling you what to do because you can't trust yourself, but you can trust them who couldn't trust themselves but found the right way and now they're telling you how to do it, so you can trust that. So you figured that out. Good for you. But you still are trusting yourself, your evil self, to make that decision. And so if you're trusting yourself to make that decision and define yourself as evil, shouldn't you be able to listen to yourself and trust yourself that you're not? Because the same being that would tell you that you are evil and trust that they are correct about your evilness would be the same person or brain or mind that's making that trusting decision that you're not. And so the trusting yourself part seems to be the only right thing. And then the outside ones are telling you something that you have to make a choice on and find out which one of those you trust. But whatever decision you make is going to be based on trust in your decision. So it doesn't make sense that you're evil. It just doesn't. You can't make a proper decision if you're evil. You wouldn't end up as a Christian if Christianity is the way and you're evil and designed or born into, or by default you're evil and the whole world is evil. If you make a decision to go to that, you're only being told by the evil world and making a decision, trusting your evil self to do the evil wrong thing. So no matter what you do, it's wrong if you're evil. So you're not evil, dude. I just talked it out and figured it out for myself. Boom, everyone's not evil. Evil is the lack of understanding of your goodness, I think. Because you're being told that you're evil, or you're being told that good is something that you can't understand. And so you get confused and think that goodness is out there somewhere when it's really right there inside of you. It's what you're made of, potentially. That's what I'm made of. And so I trust myself. Anybody who tells me I'm not made of pure goodness, you can go ahead and fuck yourself. Okay? Because I do everything I do for one reason, because I think it's right, I think it's good, and I do those things for goodness. Nothing else. I'm not tripping old ladies or fucking doing any kind of dickhead shit that's just for evil or just to be an asshole, dude. I don't do that shit. And I don't think most people do. I think most people are doing what they think is good, and youth is confused between good and coolness and popularity and fucking TikTok and shit, all these dumbass things that are out there fucking up little kids' minds into being confused, just like everybody had. We all had our own version of that. But I make all my decisions from what I know about myself, which is goodness. I'm not an evil person. I think most people aren't pure evil. And even the ones we think of as evil were probably doing what they thought was right or good. So that's... Oh, and I thought of something else too, dude. Now that I scratch the back of my head and listen to the sound freaking echo through my skull, that's weird, dude. I can hear. That's trippy. But what I was going to say is sound. So I've been on this little meditation thing about different ways to access meditation. And one of my favorite ways is to have happiness either happen or generate happiness in me by thinking about something that makes me happy, and then stretching that happiness, focusing on it until I just am enveloped by that feeling, and then I realize I'm in meditation and I just stay there and keep doing it. But another one that I just got into doing is focusing on the process of light coming into my eyeballs and being turned into information in my brain, and trying to locate that in my mind or brain or whatever in my body with my mind, kind of like yoga when you focus on a muscle and relax it so it can stretch, kind of like trying to locate that location in my mind where the light converts to image and thought in my head. And it's fucking nuts, bro. That shit's trippy shit, like almost hypnotic. You get into some crazy weird shit. So anyways, based on that, yeah, last night I was laying in bed, and I did the same thing with sound. And then I thought about taste and smell and all these other things that I can focus on. But I did it with sound, and it's so cool, dude. Trying to focus on, I haven't had enough time or whatever, days that have had sleep times to do the other ones. But I guess I have to be eating something or smelling something to do those too. So I didn't have the opportunity to focus on those yet. But the sound one is cool because you can rustle blankets or do anything just to make a little bit of a sound, and then focus on it entering your ears and feel where it's converting from a wave to an understanding in your brain. Try and locate that area. It's fucking awesome, dude. This shit is so cool to try and do that. At some points, it becomes a little bit almost like scary or something because, dude, you like fall into your mind. I don't know, it almost feels like you're gonna glitch your brain or something. Like, dude, that's the kind of scary I mean. Like, dude, should I be doing this? Am I gonna fucking glitch my brain or some shit? Is it gonna fucking look inside itself and just go infinite, like two mirrors looking at each other? And then I'll get stuck in this fucking reflection of my mind back and forth or something. I don't know. It feels like that in your brain when you start to get to where I haven't actually located it. I haven't had full success on finding it or experiencing that transfer of light to imagery in my brain. But I did get somewhere with it. I found something in there that was, it was kind of like I was getting close to the sun and it was getting hotter, but I was not anywhere close to the center of the sun yet. I was just like getting there, dude. I'm almost like right there, and everything's just like bing, almost like it's hard to explain, dude, but it feels like your brain's gonna glitch or like fucking break or some shit. So it has this element of fear that might be what's keeping my mind from focusing enough to get there, because I'm afraid to let go. Like with stretching, with yoga, you'll focus like on the back of your leg or something when you're stretching down and it's pulling. Like you have to find that thing in your brain that connects to that muscle in your leg that releases that tenseness so that it can relax and stretch. And so when I try to locate those places in my mind that are conceiving my reality through vision and sound and whatever, and converting it from the light to my mind's understanding of it, dude, it's so fucking crazy shit, dude. Do this. Just do it, okay? Do it. Do one of them. One of these meditation focus things. And it's just really powerful shit. And after it's all done, I do it at night and then I sleep and whatever, but I feel like I learned something from it. Like I feel like I added a page to my book that I haven't read yet, maybe, but I know it's there, or something. Like it's something that I feel is attained, but I can't fully explain what is attained yet. But it feels like something's growing in me, like I'm gaining understanding of myself in some way that I don't quite understand all the way yet. Something like that. I don't know, man. Totally trippy shit. Just fucking try it, dude. Alright, it's chocolate. It tastes good. Alright, it's one of those things it's hard to explain. You can't explain chocolate, dude. Just eat it. And maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. But it does take practice. It is not easy. It's not like you just lay there and be like, oh, look, my brain's converting light into thought. No, it's not that simple. Like, you really have to focus. But the focus part, all that hard mental work or whatever to get your mind to focus on one specific thing inside itself that you're trying to control and just, focus on is healthy. I think focus, period, all by itself is healthy anyways, because if you think about all the things that are healthy for your mind and your spirit or whatever, they all involve focus. Like art involves focus. Writing, reading, sports, freaking any kind of like knitting or anything that people enjoy as a hobby or do to enrich or enlighten themselves requires focus. Yoga, everything, dude. It all, even cutting food and cooking and stuff, focus. Everything requires focus that is also considered enjoyable. Some focus is not enjoyable, but at the end of all the focus, you usually gain something like knowledge or skill or experience out of that unenjoyable focus that you had to go through, like studying for finals tomorrow. I focus the shit out of my brain, but at the end of the year, when everything's done, or into my thing when I graduate, it was all worth it. So you usually focus for benefit. So this kind of meditation is just a different kind of that focus that has a different kind of benefit that I personally feel like I haven't fully understood. If it was like a scale of 1 to 10, I might have like a 3 understanding of it, but I started with a 0. So I feel like 3 is a lot. It's much more than 0. So it's like exponentially more than 0, because 0 times anything is still 0. So I feel like 3 is fucking huge, dude. It's something times 3. 3 times more somethings than something. And I started with nothing until you pay attention and actually do it, kind of like noticing other things. Dude, same shit. Okay, so noticing that this is a benefit, I had to actually partake in it and do it in order to recognize the possible benefits that could be there. Because I feel like I'm getting benefit from it, and I'm recognizing through my paying attention that benefits are there, and future or fully understood benefits are there, but I don't fully understand them, but I can understand that they're there. And I can only understand that because I experienced doing it, or I tried it, I did it. I got that fancy watch, and now I know that the other one has a hand that does the other thing, and the twinkle's different, or something. So that's something, dude. You see, this fucking conversation is going full circle right here. Damn. But anyway, so that meditation thing, any kind of meditation, I think, is a benefit to your being and your life experience, no matter what. Even solely just based on the fact that it's a new or different kind of focus, that if what we just talked about with regard to focus being important is true, then this new kind of focus is also important and adds a whole nother color to your crayon box, dude. It gives you something new that you didn't have before, that now you can shade with other colors and see how they contrast each other. It just gives you a bigger more complex understanding and ability to utilize that understanding of yourself. Which, how can that not be good? I think that has to be a good thing. It seems like understanding yourself, and also what that does is, because it adds to the understanding of yourself, I think that's a good portion of where peace comes from. Because if you don't understand it, it's fucking scary. And so if you feel like you're understanding something, or you feel like you're, yeah, I guess understanding what you're experiencing, it becomes not scary and enjoyable. And depending on, what it is that you're believing in or whatever, it gives you a lot of room to play with it and kind of enjoy it and see what it is and determine what it is for yourself. So that's just life, and the different options or avenues or whatever that we can travel down. And I think that whole focus thing is super important. Super important. The more I think about focus, the more I realize everything that I do that involves focus is the things that I enjoy. Like, that's what pleasure for me, that's what pleasure and enjoyment or whatever, and fulfillment or enrichment or whatever comes from focus. That's awesome. And so, what that kind of throws a contrast. I like to think about what's the contrast of that. It's the opposite of focus, which is kind of like just dull, numb, or whatever. It's like dull instead of focused to a point. And what comes to my mind is TV, media, TikTok, this shit you're watching. Just stuff that numbs your mind because maybe Dirty Honey's pretty good because we're talking about things that get your brain thinking. So maybe that helps. But I think a lot of media just prevents focus on things, or maybe it doesn't prevent focus. So maybe it did have a phone call. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't prevent focus, but it distracts or redirects focus into something that's a distraction of what's important and doesn't generate a happy benefit or outcome or product from the focus. Like if you focus on the news all the time, you're just going to be focusing on things that are bullshit, bad news, and unhappy shit, scary stuff, and you're going to focus on that, and that's going to give you unhappiness. You're going to be focused on something that gives you a feeling that's not good. Don't focus on that. Focus on things that give you a happy feeling. This is actually what we were talking about in the beginning with, action, reaction, causing a feeling. Same thing with what you focus on. If you focus on bad news or whatever's on the news that you don't know is going to come flying into your face, you're focused on it and it's going to direct you wherever it wants to, and then you're going to have that focus in your mind with a reaction that it had made you feel. And because you're focused on it, your brain is like really scooping that shit up hard. It's kind of like a shovel. Your mind focuses like the point of a shovel down into poop or down into some nice green grass, So where are you going to put your shovel? Where you dig your shovel, man? Make sure you're digging something up that you want. Don't dig up poop. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much all that's on the news. They just say bad news and scary this and scary that, and fucking decades of scary shit has happened on the news, and I have no idea what it is, and so many people got so fucking worried over all those things that I have no clue even happened. Don't watch it, dude. Don't dig poop, because that's what's going to be on your shovel. And your shovel, in that scenario, is your mind. You want a poopy mind, bro. So I think that it seems to me obvious for my experience to not include media, especially big media, because I think people might be able to one-on-one, like Dirty Honey, give you some good advice or perspective on things that's root human perspective instead of media driven by who knows, government, religion, big business, corruption, basically, just to scare people in a direction that they want them to go. And it seems like that's what's happening. I don't know, maybe I'm stupid. I probably am. I am. I'm Dirty Honey. I'm totally stupid. I have no idea what I'm talking about. And so now my phone is overheating. I'm going to have to do this. It's cooling down. Okay, phone got too hot. Wants me to turn on airplane mode. I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to hold the phone now like this on top of my ice pack. I think it's all overheated, dude. Dirty Honey. Speaking some hot stuff. But anyways, it's getting late anyways. We're at 46 minutes. I'm going to have to cut this short because my phone's going to overheat. We don't want that to happen. I want to make sure I have a chance to say to be nice. Don't forget, dude. Most important thing, be nice. Okay? No matter what other things we talked about, whatever. Just be nice, okay? Listen to 91.5 FM on the radio, KUSC.org on the internet, and watch all the other videos too. This video will be posted on the website later today, like all live streams are, in the live stream section down at the bottom. So watch all the videos, like, subscribe, tell a friend, dude. Fucking tell a friend. You need to go tell some friends, alright? Be like, watch Dirty Honey, like all these other 50,000 subscribers that are watching me right now. Okay? See you guys later. I'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll have some more lunch. Good conversation. Bye.